Am I good enough? That's a question I've been asking myself a lot lately. After my character design video flopped a bit, I decided to take a break and go back to working on the game full time instead of documenting it. I made some nice progress. Now the enemies can catch fire, still working on the player, and we've got a new gun, which kinda works. I'm having some issues with the rendering. I'm in a weird development spot where I have enough basic systems to play the game, but not enough assets to actually play it. Even if I made a level with the few props and textures I have, I still have only 1.5 enemies, no functional doors due to some navmesh issues, and no friendly NPCs. I could try programming more systems and assets, but without levels it's hard to wager what I actually need to make. Besides, any time I work on the simple stuff is time spent not working on the big important stuff. The saving system still needs improvements. There's still no system for cutscenes, mostly because I don't have anything to play cutscenes. The Bultle still has no AI and the Tentalich's AI is only passable at best. The UI is still extremely basic and many things aren't even implemented. And all of that would be fine, after all it's called a devlog, not a release log. The game's far from releasing because stuff is still being worked on, but that's not the big issue here. The issue is whether I even can finish it. I think I already expressed just how long of a shot this project is. After all, I am trying to single-handedly do what took 30 people 2 years, and I'm starting to think I can't do it. You have no idea just how many systems in the game rely on hope that things just won't break. For instance, every time you load a save, the entire level you're in reloads itself completely, and then it's updated with all the save data, and that's because I couldn't unkill the enemies. For optimization reasons, when an enemy dies, a lot of its AI is completely removed so that the corpse doesn't waste time trying to execute it. But after you load a save, it's really hard to reapply all that AI stuff back into the now living enemy. That's why the entire level gets loaded from the start and then all the dead enemies are killed instantly upon loading. Wanna know something funny? When you die while moving, a crap load of error messages will show up. When you die, a new corpse object is spawned. Then the camera is attached to that object, allowing your camera to go flying and tumbling after your demise. It's a cool effect, but it does cause all these errors, and that's because of this. Movement camera sway. When you stand still, the camera will try to go back into a neutral position, but if you die, the camera isn't a part of the player anymore, and thus it cannot be moved from within the player, causing all these errors to show up. Of course, I could just check the validity of camera controller before moving it, but that would result in about 60 checks per second of camera movement. So it's actually more resource efficient to leave these errors be, since the camera movement doesn't matter after you're dead, and the player will never see these errors in a compiled build of the game. And probably my biggest sin yet, this memory leak. For the sake of flexibility, the weapon that the player is holding is actually another entity, separate from the player. This allows me basically endless possibilities, as the weapon can execute any code. But there's a problem. When you switch to a different weapon, the engine creates a copy of it instead of replacing the already existing one. This means that, as you switch weapons, more actors are loaded into the memory, slowly increasing the necessary RAM. Of course, Unreal's trash collection should realize the old weapons don't exist anymore and remove them, but have no clue how much impact it will have on performance before the old guns get removed from memory. And probably stupidest of all, see all these pixelated textures? They are pixelated on purpose to look like the classic 90s games did before texture filtering, but they're not actually pixelated. You see, Unreal by default filters its textures to hide the pixels, so having an actually lowest texture would just make it look blobby. So what I had to do is take the pixelated texture and scale it up tenfold for it to be big enough where filtering isn't visible anymore. Except, that's not true.
And also, a lot of these textures, like this is a 32 by 32 texture used here, but in the files it's actually 128 by 128. Yeah, I didn't know how to texture filtering.
And he's not the only one.
Takes forever to start up, of course. I don't even know at this point what all gets loaded at runtime.
Like, the thing is, a lot of people are just like, oh my god, Ultra Kill is such a fucking brilliant game, just like Hakita is such a fucking master of game development and design and stuff. It's like, no, it's a fucking mess. I had no idea what I was doing. And I think that's a testament to just how, like, really anyone can really get into making games. You really don't have to be like a fucking genius or anything. It's just...
The best code is the one that gets your game released. So don't worry about it.